Homefound homies, happy July. Hope you guys are all surviving the heat. If you need a really good AC man, give me a call. We're going to jump right in. We are going to talk about home price appreciation. We've actually seen this graph before. These are just some updated numbers. You'll see on this graph there is a green trend line. So natural appreciation year over year for home values is about 4%. That's what we would like to see. That's healthy for the economy. When you look at the graph, you'll see that in 2008, before the crash, we were 21% above the trend line. And then we see home values dip. And then for the next subsequent 12 years, we see home values below that natural trend line. Where we are now in 2024 is just 9% above the trend line. So this speaks a little bit to what's happening with rates, right? They haven't made any improvements on rates, and so there is downward pressure on pricing, which overall is not necessarily a bad thing. If we were to see stability in pricing for the next 2 years with 4% appreciation, we would be right back on that trend line. So we've already seen home values start to flatline this year. If we see it similarly next year, we're going to be right on that trend line again, which is ultimately really good for the economy. Taking a look at the local market, good news, more inventory. We keep seeing more inventory, which is great and typical of this time of year. Two things to note. Right now, we are seeing absorption staying steady. Buyers are still out there making offers on homes. So we're seeing about 1,300 homes pending each week. The other noteworthy piece to me here is that you'll see here at the end of June, and there's a line underneath that isn't being shown as well, but there's 2 weeks where price drops increased by 33%. That means a third of the homes on the market were doing a price drop in the last 2 weeks. So that's a big jump, which tells you if you're a buyer right now in the market, there are reasonable sellers out there ready to make a deal. The other thing that I want to talk about here too is that, we want to see over 2,000 homes in Ada County for a healthy market, and we're almost there. So while people may complain about inventory, we actually have some really good data to show that numbers are looking good. Lastly, we're going to look at the national numbers as well as our market in Idaho. I have a graph here that shows all of the states, and it shows the GDP growth. So that's gross domestic product. So gross domestic product, according to Wikipedia, is a monetary measure of the market value of all the final goods and services produced and rendered in a specific time period by a county or countries. GDP is often used to measure the economic health of a country or a region. So we look at this and we can see that Idaho is number 2 in GDP. Number 1 is Nevada with 0.1% more growth in GDP. Last month, we looked at and we saw that Idaho was number 1 in job growth. That's not only new jobs, but higher paying jobs. And as a state, we're number 2 in GDP. So interest rates may be higher. Things are not necessarily easy in the housing market. But when you look at our economy and the trajectory that it's on, my bet's still on Idaho. So if you are looking out there right now, make some good investments, hire a good agent. You know how to get a hold of me. Have a great July.